So, good afternoon, or evening, or morning, wherever you are, and welcome to Salonpreneur Magazine, the podcast. And today I'm joined by Claire Black from Bliss and
Balance and Bliss.
Balance and Bliss.
Balance and
I
Bliss
always,
accountants.
I know, just lots of bees. And they join us as the finance people writing for the magazine. So, hello, Claire. Welcome to this edition.
Thank you.
That's okay. And yeah, so we're talking about the spring edition of Salonpreneur, and Claire very kindly wrote this wonderful article all about making tax digital. It is me as well. About making tax digital, which is about to land. Well, it has technically landed already, but it
It
won't actually
has.
start quite yet.
No. There's a little bit
So
of a
let's talk.
reprieve of it started, but you don't need to do anything differently
Yeah,
quite yet. You should be,
no,
but it's not the end of the world if you haven't started.
no. So I know we brushed on this, didn't we, in the last chat that we had, and it was in the last magazine a little bit. We had like a little bit of an intro to what was going to be happening. So this time, I think it's like a bit of a deeper dive, isn't it, into just what it means. And I mean, first of all, if we start with who this doesn't affect yet, because this is going to be sort of probably for the more I don't know, maybe the more full-time kind of professionals,
Yeah,
isn't
the
it,
sort of
really?
bigger, sort of more established businesses. So at the moment, if your turnover for the tax return that you filed last April, or should have done, so for 24-25, if your turnover, not your profit, was less than £50,000, doesn't apply to you.
Yeah,
If
yet.
you've registered from April, if you've registered as self-employed in the last 18 months or so, also doesn't apply to you. So you get a year off. Even if you're turning over £50,000 or more in your first year, it doesn't apply to you yet, but it will next year.
Yeah,
So basically, anyone with a turnover of over £50,000, it's you.
yeah. So if you turned over £50,005,
Hmm.
unfortunately, you're in.
Yeah. But 49,999, you're out. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I know that we have to have a threshold for everything,
there
don't
has
we?
to
But
be a
it's
point.
just when you fall on the wrong side of it, it always feels so unfair.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
But we were saying, weren't we, beforehand, about the fact that this is actually an opportunity for those of us that, like me, I was saying to Claire before, I've got my business and my husband's business, and sadly at this point, I can unashamedly, slightly, say that I've got 2 years of accounts to do because he used to be VAT registered, and so I was really good, and I used to do all of his books monthly. Then he stopped being VAT registered last year. And I've now slipped into the dreaded, oh my God, I've got a year's worth of accounts to do. Um, and it's not a fun place to be, even at this time in the year when you know that you've still got 7 months to do it. But my husband is in the MTD bracket. And so I've now got a year's worth of accounts plus 3 months to get done
Yeah.
before the end of June. Is that right? Have I got it right? Is it the
No,
end of
it's the
June?
end of July.
Oh, end of July.
In MTD, the first MTD submission is due on the 7th of August. So you
Oh, right.
effectively have July to get everything together
Oh,
and then
that's
get
good.
it submitted. So
I thought
it
you'd
is
be,
for anyone VAT registered, it's very, very similar.
yeah,
Except the quarters are fixed. So you don't
yeah,
get different quarters. Everyone has the same quarter.
yeah. And I do think, because it's what we were saying, wasn't it? Is, I mean, he was back registered for like 28 years or something. So I'm so used to those cycles. But immediately I've got out of those cycles. It's like freedom. But it isn't, because then you end up in January, as you would like, well, under normal circumstances, you'd end up in January on the 28th panicking,
Hmm.
because you haven't done your yearly accounts. So this I do see as an opportunity. And I was saying to you no, that I'm actually going to, because I'm going to be doing his, I'm going to start my MTD early, which is madness, really. But
You're
if I'm
not
doing one, I
alone.
might
I
as well
think
do both.
it will get you into good habits,
Yeah,
whereas it's not the end of the world if you don't quite meet those deadlines at the moment.
yeah,
But there are so many advantages to making tax digital. Yes, it's new habits. It might be a bit of a pain initially, but
yeah,
actually, once you're in it, you'll be doing your accounts every 3 months, not once a year.
yeah,
And you'll be only be looking at information from the last sort of 12 to 16 weeks,
yeah,
not the last 22 months, because no
yeah.
one remembers on January 31st what they were doing on April the 6th, 22 months ago.
Yeah.
What did I buy from it? I have no idea what I bought from
Yeah.
Amazon. I
That's it. You know,
went to
you've
B&M
got,
and
yeah,
bought something. God
some
knows where the
random
receipt's
receipt. And
gone.
I've had it, I mean, even over the 3 months, my husband like could be, I don't know what I did there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what I had for tea
What do you
last
mean I
night.
went into, JW Hartley's like tool shop? I don't know what I bought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah, no
those
idea.
receipts are long gone, whereas you're only ever going to be looking at 16 weeks behind.
Yeah.
Which also means when you're only looking at 16 weeks of accounts, if there's something that's creeping up that isn't good, like your suppliers have put your prices up and you haven't put your prices up, or wage bills have gone up and your rate prices haven't gone up to match, or anything like that, you're only going to have a maximum of 16 weeks of that impacting your business before you fix it and
Yeah.
fix. Yeah, you'll spot it, you'll fix it, and you'll move on. Not
And
22 months when you realize actually that you haven't made a profit on a particular service because
yeah.
you've just taken your eye off a ball.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is, yes, you've got to do this submission and you've got to do all the statutory tax stuff, but you've done your accounts, so you may as well look at them.
Yeah. And also, just one question that's just popped into my head. So, obviously, with VAT, you pay your tax as you go.
Yeah.
That you don't have any choice in that. But with MTD, is there any payments that run
No,
throughout the year? So it still
no.
only goes through as payment in
So
January.
so there's still payments on account, which are the January and July payments, which we won't get into today because
No.
everyone gets completely baffled
Yeah.
about them. Nothing else changes, so the tax is still due at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, what we're finding when we're talking to clients is people want to know what their tax bill is going to be. Some
Mm-hmm.
people will pay that directly to HMRC quarterly. Some
Mm-hmm.
people will put it in a savings account. Some people just want an idea of that figure to know what's coming. So one of the brilliant things that MTD is doing, which is a little bit technical and it's slightly different to how HMRC does other things and other links within their Making Tax Digital and real-time information services, is it's a two-way link. So software will send information to HMRC, and
Yeah.
whereas with corporation tax and self-assessment and payroll, HMRC doesn't send us anything back.
No.
We know nothing about what's happened at the other end until we go in their software and look.
Yeah.
With Making Tax Digital for income tax, it will actually push information back to us.
Ooh,
So if that information is held correctly, and that's a very big if, it will automatically update your tax status and it will tell you roughly what you owe.
that's good.
It is good.
That's got to be a bonus, hasn't it?
It is
Because
a huge
and it
bonus.
will
I
take
will
into
caveat
account your
that by
tax
saying
code.
we don't know how that's going to look just yet, particularly
Yeah.
if you've got several different sources of employment, how it is going to aggregate them and put them in.
Yeah.
But we will always do it anyway. We'll look at the figures and make sure that they're realistic and do a tax projection for you at that quarterly meeting. So you'll know roughly what tax is due. You don't have to pay
Yeah.
it, but you'll know how much you need to save.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing as well. And I think, and it's all very well if you want to put that money away for the revenue and give it to them. But equally, it's also an opportunity for you to put your money. I mean, I'm not a saver, I'm useless, but to put your money in an ISA or something like that,
Put it
so
in a
that you
high
can actually
interest
benefit.
savings account if you can
Yeah.
find one, earn a bit of interest on it. Just keep
Yeah.
it, out of sight, out of mind. So
Yeah.
it's not going to get spent on, swallowed up into daily running costs. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a huge opportunity to not have that January panic of, oh my God. And I
Yeah.
know in the salon industry, you're always busy in December. And I know a lot of our clients like, oh, it's all right. I'll earn enough in December to pay my tax bill at the end of January.
That's such a
It's
fallacy, though.
hairy.
It does, but also I found in the 10 years I had my salon running, I found, yeah, the last 10 days of December is mental. But generally, and we found it didn't matter what we did, the first week or two of December slows right down. And in actual fact, May and July were our busier months and ones where we actually have higher revenues.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that we have nearly all of December's revenue in
In a
10
short
days.
period. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
So
feels insane, but it's
you
not.
feel like you've earned a lot of money. But in actual fact, unless you've been consistently busy and then upgrade like your staff numbers in that last 10 days so you can
Yeah.
provide more services, you're never going to earn more money in
Yeah.
December.
You're not providing, if you haven't increased your capacity, you're not going to earn any more money.
No.
You just can't.
But I think, but it's like an optical illusion, isn't it? The December thing. And that's why then when you come back in January, it feels so quiet because you've just had complete madness for 10 days.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is. I used to love looking at I used to sit in January, like looking at the previous year and looking at all the peaks and flows. And consistently, I wish I still had all that data, I really do. But consistently, it virtually peaked and troughed the same all the way through. Never ever shifted. Didn't matter what we did.
And that's it. We're all creatures of habit. We all
Yeah.
like, we like our spray tans before we go on holiday. And yeah, it just slowly we get into those habits and we don't realize we're doing it.
No, no.
And that's
It's
the
very
interesting
odd.
thing.
But I think as well is that and with that January thing, I think you always think you're going to be really, really quiet in January because everyone spent everything in Christmas. And invariably, January was never that quiet for us. We just sort of plodded along. We were probably one of our quieter months, but I didn't have time to sit necessarily and do all of my books every January when I had
And
the
there's also,
time.
if people have been given gift vouchers, you get a little bit of a boost from that. So whereas it probably almost all equals itself out, the people who are like, oh, I'm broke, I can't do this, versus the people who've had gift vouchers, or
Yeah,
it's January and it's grey and I just want to be cheered up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, and actually, just sorry, as a complete aside to making tax digital, just for a moment, gift vouchers, as we're talking about them, like I know for a lot of people, there's always a lot of confusion over when the income is and what the income is allocated to and stuff like. Can we just do a quick 2 minutes on gift vouchers and how they work in a salon business? Because it's a question that gets asked so much.
So it depends. A lot of it depends on how you're set up for accounts, whether you're set up as cash accounting or accrual accounting. So I'm going to use boring accountancy
Yeah,
terms. So if you're cash accounting, then you account for it when you receive the money.
yeah,
Regardless of when they have their service, then you would account for it when you have the money. If you're accruals accounting, it's based on when you do the work.
right. Yeah,
Um, so you would then account for it at the time. I think in
yeah.
reality, what most people do is they account for it when
Yeah, that's
you
what I
get the
always
money.
used to do. And and even now sometimes, because I had someone like in my little like treatment clinic that I still run, someone just randomly bought £200 worth of gift vouchers last week. So I don't know who you are. Why have you bought, I know it's lovely. Google's obviously doing its thing.
Yeah.
But it's I've got no idea who they are or when they're going to come. I don't know if it's for a birthday. I've got no idea. And so it's like the money gets put aside. And I used to do that in my business as well. I used to have like a gift voucher pot, like savings account, and I'd bring that money into the business because otherwise,
Yeah.
especially if you've sold £1,000 worth of gift vouchers at
I
Christmas and
think
they all
that's
come
it.
home to roost very quickly, or only £500 come home to roost in January, and then in November everyone's got they're all a bit poor because they're trying to get ready for Christmas, and all of a sudden you get like a £500 hit on gift vouchers and you've spent the
And
money.
that's, yeah. So, I mean, that's the sort of the cash flow side of it. So
Yeah,
the tax side of it is cash versus accrual accounting, but cash
yeah,
flow, you need to know how much you've got sitting in vouchers,
yeah.
when they're going to expire. Do you have an expiry policy on your vouchers? Is someone going to pitch up with a voucher that they bought 10 years ago and didn't use? Are you going to take it?
Yeah, this is it.
Um,
And I think, yeah, that's I mean, that's a whole different
that's a
ball.
whole other
That's
thing.
another whole podcast because there's like the
Yes.
terms
Yeah.
and conditions and the government recommendations and whatever. But I
Yeah.
think that it does get confusing. And I think, so if you sell a gift voucher in March, but you do the treatment in August, I think for some people like that, what tax year is it in? And I think it's just nice to have a bit of clarity because it's something that trips people up depending on how
Yeah.
they are accounting.
I think I know what I'm writing my next magazine article on
Do
though.
you? I just think it's because it's one of the most common purchases that we have from
Yeah.
other people, like friends of, father or wife of, or whatever, that buy vouchers for our businesses or from our businesses for their recipient. And it is, and if you and even I mean, I used to work in finance, so I understand cash accounting and accrual accounting. I know exactly what you mean. But for huge numbers of solos, they'll just be scratching their heads going, what?
What?
What do you mean accrual? What does that mean? And
Yeah.
I think just sort of, maybe we could have like a glossary of terms. I don't know. But I
We
think
could
that
do
would,
a glossary. I mean, I try and avoid using the difficult words.
yeah,
Just
because it
because they're
does just
difficult
confuse
words, I don't
people.
want to use them. They make no
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. But maybe we could do like a little glossary and put it on the website or something if you've got
Yeah.
something that would, because I think it would be really handy um to just have something that people can refer to that makes things a little bit clearer, takes away some of the scary words.
It does. And and also things, there's common myths and misconceptions within what you can do accounting and tax wise as well.
Mm.
Things about people like, oh, I have to be a limited company if I want to employ someone. No.
Oh no.
I have to be VAT registered. No.
No.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
there's all
there's
these
just so
things.
many
Yeah.
that maybe we could just have a whole article on urban myths of the accounting world
Well,
and the
yeah,
salon
it could go,
industry.
yes. There's some very interesting ones.
Yeah.
Don't
But
make
I
us
think
talk about Jaffa cakes. That's
oh yeah,
Jaffa cakes are
absolutely.
controversial.
Yeah. But this is it, isn't it? It's like, like with a magazine, like because it's a published document, there's no VAT.
Yeah.
So it's like, but advertising within it
Hmm.
would have would can't say
Yeah.
the word would have VAT on it.
Yeah.
And so there's so many nuances in accounting and how it all works.
Yeah.
And I think, if we can try and dispel some of those myths and make it a little bit easier access for people.
Yeah. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it is complicated. And yeah, so I mean, I feel quite fortunate sometimes. I worked in a finance department in the health service for a really long time for the director of finance. So I had I mean, I had no clear understanding, but I have a broad understanding of all, because I had to understand the terminology and the jargon. So I had to understand bits of it. I couldn't sit creating some of the spreadsheet wonders that I used to do, but I understood the content of what that was. And so
Yeah.
I've got a different understanding to a lot of salon owners just because I've got that history. And when you come into it and you don't know what you don't know, it's
That's it. You don't know what
complicated.
you don't know. And it's so easy to fall into mistakes
Yeah.
because some of it's not logical. In
No.
fact, a lot of it isn't logical.
Yeah. And I'll tell you actually another interesting question that, sorry, because we are supposed to be about making tax digital, although it is all tax reference, is washing machine about washing towels.
Oh,
Because
yes.
I've seen that you can only, was it washing towels? You can only claim £60 under HMRC.
Yeah. It's something like that. I can't remember the exact
And
figure off
yeah,
the top of my mind.
but you can charge for your electricity. And yeah, so clarification on that would be amazing. Not today, but just as I've seen it on about 3 groups over the last couple of months, and I commented and I got in trouble for saying something that someone disagreed with. Okay, I'm just going to be quiet because I'm not an accountant. Yeah.
I have interesting. I do know there are people who buy a separate washing machine to justify
Yeah.
this is wholly and exclusively,
Yeah.
which actually I think for hairdressers I completely get because
Yeah. I did in my salon.
I
I had a
wouldn't want
blow
my
dryer in an outroom in an
yeah,
outbuilding.
I wouldn't want my personal washing machine getting completely gunked up with hair and stuff. No,
No, no.
no, no.
And isn't it even with massage and stuff, it's all the oils and stuff
And
that
the
comes
yeah.
out of it.
So I can understand why you'd have a
Yeah.
separate one if you could, but it's possibly an extreme thing to get around tax wise.
Yeah.
Buying an extra washing machine and having it plumbed
Yeah.
in.
But
Yeah.
I think it's just something that I see quite a lot, and there's confusion over. And I think especially now we've got more and more home salons. There's all of these little hints and tips and tricks of like, actually, no, you
What
can
you
claim
can
this,
actually
but
do, what you
only
can't
claim this
do.
much. Yeah.
And
Anyway,
uniform is another one.
yeah, yeah. I know
What
there's
is
so
uniform
many.
and what isn't uniform? What can I
Yeah.
claim in terms of protective clothing, that kind of thing.
There's so much. I know.
There is
Look,
lots.
we've got your articles written for the next year.
Yeah, exactly. I don't, well, Claire's writing the next one. I don't know what she's going to write about, but she's not
Yeah.
having my ideas.
No, don't give her your ideas. But the thing is, there's always so many little things, and I think that people are fearful of employing an accountant to ask those kinds of questions. People don't want to look silly, don't want to look like they don't know. But the thing is, and that's why I love having you two as part of the magazine, is because we can ask you the silly questions and you'll tell us.
Yeah, there is no such thing as a silly question. You
Yeah,
just, you know, we all do different things and we're all good at different things and we
yeah,
all love different things. And
yeah,
actually, I couldn't do a manicure to save my life. I'm
yeah.
not going to show you my hands. Um, I couldn't do hair. I can't, I have no creative skills, but I'm quite good at
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah.
So
This is it, isn't it? And it's just everyone has their special
their
thing that
thing.
they
And
do.
it's nothing to be ashamed of. We can't all be brilliant at
No,
everything. We
no.
just cannot.
It is, and
And
I think grasping an understanding of accounts is enough for most salon owners. They
yes,
don't need to know all of the how-tos and all of the behind the scenes stuff. It isn't that necessarily
no,
important.
it's not. And it changes.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to MTD.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this is it. And
This big change.
this is a massive, massive change.
It is a huge change. And I think next year it's going to be an even bigger change when people
Yeah.
with an income of over £30,000 get pulled in as well.
Yeah.
So shall I do a quick run through of what you need to do?
Yeah, go and do that.
So ditch spreadsheet. You can't use spreadsheet or for your accounts anymore. Receipt books gone. You can have a diary, that's fine, but you do need to keep everything digitally. So you need to use account software. So there's loads of options out there. I will say there's Free Agent. I'm on Team Free Agent. It's my favorite. Zero, Sage, QuickBooks. I'm trying to think of it. There's Linebooks. There's loads.
I've got what's my one called? Quick File.
QuickFile. Yeah. I think
And
they
it's,
do the
do you know
filing. I
what?
don't
It's
think
so
they necessarily have a
simplistic.
full service.
Yeah,
That's
I've checked them. They are MTD compliant because I
they
did
are.
after
Yeah.
we were talking in January, in
Yeah.
December,
So if you go
January.
on
I checked.
HMRC's website, it lists out all the
Yeah,
MTD compliant software on there.
and
Um, I think we said a lot in January as well. We would advise that you steer clear of the freebies as a rule, or the very cheap ones, because they will have limitations on what you can do. And then it'll be, oh, actually, you have to pay an extra fiver to do that, and you have to pay an extra
yeah,
bit for that. And it just doesn't do that. And before you know it, you've spent more money than you would have done on a decent bit of software on something that still doesn't quite do what you want it to do.
yeah,
So be aware of what you want it to do, and how it needs to work. Choose your software. They pretty much all do the same thing, the big ones, in different colors.
yeah,
Um, there's slightly different user interfaces. You'll like one more than you like the other.
yeah,
I would say, though, try and get one that's got a bank feed. A bank feed will make your life a million times easier.
yeah.
And if you can also get one that integrates with your payment process, so Stripe, SumUp, not Settle anymore, PayPal,
Settle. Yeah,
whoever
well,
you
there's
use
so
to
many
get
of
your
them, isn't
pay
there?
from,
Yeah,
your card processing, get one that links to that as well, because that will usually auto reconcile, which means it splits the fees out so that you're recognizing the right income. So once you've got your software, link up your bank, start reconciling, raising your invoices, whatever you need to do. When it gets to the end of, the quarter, you'll then have until the following month on the 7th. So this time it's the 7th of August. You'll need to submit April, May, and June
yeah,
to HMRC. And whichever software you'll use, there'll be a little thing that says tax or words to that effect. You go there, you hit submit, and it'll send it to HMRC. HMRC will say, thank you very much, and then send some stuff back. So it'll say it's got it. And if it's working properly, it'll tell you more about your tax owed and tax liabilities and so on in there. And if there's been tax code changes, that kind of stuff should come through too. So you do that 4 times a year.
yeah. And
So
then,
same thing, 6 weeks after month end. Once a year, you still need to do a self-assessment. But all that information that you've been using for those quarters will be sat in
yeah,
your software. So
yeah,
you've done it already. And then it's just year-end adjustments that you need to do. So depending on how in depth you get in your accounts, things like if you've got accruals or prepayments set in there, you'll do those at year end. They don't necessarily need to be done quarterly. Any other kind of journaling entries that you need to do. If you've had bank interest, it will go on that final return. If you've got self-employed income, it will go on there. If you've got property income, it will go on there. The final return effectively just grabs everything plus everything that you haven't submitted and puts it in the final return.
yeah.
So it's a little bit extra, but it's nowhere near as big as a self-assessment you do at the moment.
Yeah. Well,
And
this is it,
that's the
because all
one
of
that will
that
give you the
data is
final
already
tax
in their
bill.
hands, isn't it? So they don't need it repeated.
Exactly. Yeah. The good thing with MTD as well at the moment is if you need to make a correction to a previous return that you sent via MTD, you've missed a receipt or your bank feed dropped off for whatever reason, you can still enter that as you normally would, and it will pick it up on the next return.
Yeah. So very much because that's how VAT works, isn't it? So if you realise that, or if you get a refund on something and you've claimed the VAT for it already, it will do the adjustment on the next one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
one thing I do want to ask, because I've seen this and it's something that I want to look at in the magazine, and I meant to put it in the news and I didn't, but in spring I forgot, is the fact that I have noticed, because I know from my booking system, I had to give permission for them to share my details with HMRC. So is this all tied into MTD?
Um,
Is that a separate thing that they
no,
are doing?
it's not tied into MTD.
Okay.
It's it's HMRC's way of looking at the gig economy.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I had Vinted and eBay. There was a lot in the
Mm.
press about Vinted and eBay and Uber as well, um, providing information to HMRC about people. I think it was over 2,000 who were earning over £2,000 a year. I can't remember the
Yeah.
exact
Yeah.
figures, through those things. And with Vinted and eBay, it could well be that you're just selling off stuff you
Yeah.
got around the
In
house.
fact, we just had it with eBay ourselves because my husband has collected speakers for years that he's had dotted all around our
Yeah.
house, and he's just sold some.
It's not a business. He's just
No,
getting
and
rid
it's
of
not. He's just
possessions.
sold some of his personal effects, but one of the sets of speakers was a lot of money,
Mm,
and yeah, and
yeah.
we've just kind of taken
And that's it. They're
our
not
capital
interested.
back.
HMRC aren't interested in that.
No,
That's
and
none of their concern.
yeah,
They're looking at people who are running a business.
yeah. So
And
for us
that's
with
so,
booking
but as you
systems,
said, Uber, so now booking services as well, they're looking, go, hang on a minute, if you're using a booking service,
yeah,
you're
you
running a
must be,
business.
yeah,
You're not, this isn't, your income isn't below a trading allowance. Therefore, you are running a business and
yeah,
you need to be recording that correctly. So they can and they will cross-reference and make
yeah,
sure that, and you could get an inspection to say, well, we believe that you have income from this source.
yeah,
Why haven't you declared it?
yeah. And so I know because it's just that it seems to have landed just on the run up to MTD going like, oh, I think I saw it about 6 months ago, 4 months ago. And I was like, oh, with MTD, is it linked? But obviously, so it's not.
It's
So
not necessarily linked.
yeah,
It's just HMRC getting better at recording stuff digitally and being aware that people have this information in a usable format that they can get.
yeah, yeah. And
And
the fact is, HMRC, we can't stop them.
no, there is no stopping them.
No,
But what I would say is, if there's people out there who've got, oh, can you just set this up for me? Be careful
yeah,
because you don't want something set against your, yeah.
yeah.
If you set
It's
up
just
someone's booking
difficult.
service with your name,
Yeah,
don't do
because
that.
yeah, I think it's just one of those difficult things, isn't it? I think we're going to see that what we perceive to be intrusions into our private lives a lot more from government sources, and an
Yes.
MTD probably feels a little bit like that
It
because
does feel intrusive because
it does, I suppose, because it's just putting a burden on us.
it's putting a
But no,
burden on
it
us.
isn't. Do you know? But the ridiculous thing is, it isn't even. It's no different to the burden that we already have, but it's just spaced out in smaller chunks.
It's a little bit more time consuming. I'm not going to lie. You
Yeah,
have to have software, but actually, if you're paying, free agent is free with NatWest and Metal accounts.
yeah,
So you don't have to pay for it at all if you open a new bank account. But also you can get software for 10, 20, £25 a month. If you're using it properly and then you're looking at those numbers or getting someone to come and look at those numbers for you, you'll save the amount of money that you've spent on the
yeah,
software and the time
yeah,
by spotting where the money is leaking out of your
yeah.
business.
Absolutely. And I think as well is that for people that are a bit tech phobic, because that's another sort of like string that a lot of sort of salon pros have in their armory is that they don't like tech. But if you can manage a booking system, managing an accounting system isn't that different, is it
It's
really?
not, and most of it you can do from your phone now.
Yeah, yeah, it is much easier. Although I have to say that my husband, he's got zero, and irritatingly, I can't do quotes from my phone.
No.
And that, so there's a few things, but I mean, I can invoice, I can reconcile, I can do all of the main things that you need to do on a daily basis. I can do from my phone,
Yeah.
with zero, and I have had free agent before, and I think that was quite useful on a phone, and
Yeah,
I've had that for quite a while.
yeah. They all, as I said before, you'll find a software that you like using.
Yeah,
Um, you know, that's, if you don't like using it and you've got to use it, then move on to something else
yeah,
because you're not going to use it if you don't like using it.
no. Although I have to say that fills me with dread because it's just like then oh, that whole thing of like starting a new one and all the journal codes and stuff. But
Yeah. And I think that's why start early
yeah,
because you can start today. You can use zero and think, actually, no, that's not for me. I'll give
yeah,
QuickBooks a try. And it doesn't
yeah.
matter.
No, because I think it is, and for especially for solo pros, the majority of solo pros are likely to fall into next year.
Yes.
And then the ones that are more part-time will probably fall into the year after. So there is so much time to get this. And even now, you've still got, where are we now? We've still got May, June, and
Yeah.
July to get your head around how to make this work.
Yeah.
And do ask, if you're stuck, just ask somebody. Because there's so many people, and I know you two do like a really great sort of like, I'm sure you're going to say this, monthly payment.
We do monthly payment so our sole trader packages are usually £50 per month.
Yeah.
And that includes software, bookkeeping, talk to us, management accounts, all of that stuff. So we take it all and then tell you what's happened afterwards.
But this is, I think it's just for so many people, it's just the fear of, isn't it? And that there's little barriers and money blocks or whatever. There's so many bits that stop us from doing.
Yeah. And we recognize that there's people who aren't ready to have a big package, and we'll do training sessions with them.
Yeah.
So we'll spend an hour with someone and go through, right, okay, so what is it you want? This is how we can help you do it. And this is how you can help yourself do it. We'll set it up for you. We'll walk you through what you need to do.
Yeah.
And
So is there anything else for MTD for those that are going to have that have hit is it 50,000 or 50,001? It's 50,000, isn't it?
It's 50,000.
It's 50,000. So if you've hit 50,000, so the first thing they've got to do is get their system in place.
Get their systems in place. So get your software. If you haven't already, get a business bank account.
Yeah.
And only use it for business. Don't use it for petrol, Tesco's, the kids' trips.
Yeah.
Just use it for business. Get your software connected to your bank, or your bank connected to your software, and start using it.
Yeah.
Link it to your most booking systems won't connect, but most payment processors will connect.
Yeah.
So as much as you can automate, so it all appears there.
Yeah.
I have no shame in saying that humans are the weakest link in accounts.
Absolutely.
Robots are really good at some stuff, and data entry is one of them. So just let them, because no one wants to type in bank statements into a bit of account software when you click a button and it just pulls it all through.
I know,
it's all secure. The accounts don't see your bank. Your bank sends the accounts information.
Yeah.
So
I'm just thinking with the booking systems, although this starts getting a bit techie, if you don't like tech, apologies. But would you not be able to pull down your reporting and upload that so you could reconcile against it? Sorry, just going into like the techie.
You could.
Probably could, but it's making work, isn't it?
I would say don't do that, because people pay differently with different ways.
Yeah.
So if you've got someone who pays cash on the day or gift vouchers like we were talking about earlier, I would say go with your payment processor instead.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, that's fine. I know it's just all these little questions, because the thing is, if I'm having questions, it's like there's going to be other people having questions.
Yes, yeah.
Although they might be very different questions to what pops up into my strange head. But yeah. Oh, so then after that, then that's it. They just do their quarterly returns and
do
then
your quarterly
the final annual
returns.
return.
Sit down, look at the numbers. I would say that you need to look at your net and your gross profit.
Yeah.
Work out your cost of sales versus your income, what profit margin you're making. Then deduct your overheads and see what your profit margin is then.
Yeah.
And then start looking look for patterns.
Yeah.
And I always say, don't do everything in one day. Rome wasn't built in a day. So don't try and look at everything, because you just won't do it. You'll give up.
Yeah.
Pick one service. So I'm going to pick on nails. Look at how much am I charging for nails? How long is it taking? How much does that room rent cost for that? How much have I paid a member of staff to do that? How much have those products cost? Am I making any money on it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then the next month you could do a different one. But just look at all those things individually. I mean, booking software is amazing. They've got some fantastic reports on booking software that people don't look at.
I used to love going through my different reports.
It's brilliant. Yeah, you can. It's like a rabbit hole.
Or just to work out, I used to love the ones of like how customer spend. So individual
lifetime value of clients.
Who's your highest value customer? Because you've got to love them. And some of my customers used to spend thousands of pounds with me.
And you'll always be surprised who it is as well.
Yeah, yeah. Or who it isn't.
Yes.
The ones that you think, because they're always in, but they might only be having like a brow wax here and a lip wax there or whatever, and having the nails done here. Like, they might be quite surprising as to.
And who is cancelling?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it is, and I think, you know, that again comes into another whole thing of like cancellation fees and whether you apply them or you don't, because you can normally see patterns of people that are regular counsellors, and your booking
Yeah.
systems can help you see that
Yeah.
massively.
Yeah. Is it a
Especially,
problem for
I
you?
used to use when I had my salon, I had a Vartu, and the reporting on that was so good. I loved it, and I know
I was looking
Forest
at
is
someone's this
amazing.
weekend on the Vartu, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
don't,
very good.
yeah, I just loved it. You could just sit having all these just the
I'm
data.
gonna I'd say my battery is going to go soon.
Okay, that's fine. Well,
Sorry.
anyway, well, is there any other quick snippets of MTD that people need any information on? Or are we there?
I think we're there on MTD. I would
Yeah,
say if you want to do it yourself, that's brilliant and you can do it yourself. But there, not just us, most accountants will spend an hour just helping you set it up and giving you some guidance on it.
yeah,
And it's going to be money well spent getting it right first time
yeah.
because
And
you
even
just
if
repeat what you've done again and again.
yeah, it's even if you just get help to set everything up initially.
Yeah,
I know you provide that kind of service as well, as do many other accountants, and just getting someone to help you get it all set so that then you can go off and just come back if you need to.
exactly. Yeah. And then you've got the
Yeah,
peace of mind of knowing that you're doing it right.
yeah. Thank you very much for joining me
Thank
today.
you.
All right, cheers.
Take care.